Yeah, there's nothing wrong with taking down the internet as long as you're going to rebuild it into the same image, I suppose.
The Nobel Prize in Physics this year went to black holes. Well, generally speaking. Specifically, it was shared by the astronomers who revealed to us the Milky Way's central black hole, and by Roger Penrose, who proved that in general relativity, every black hole contains a place of infinite gravity, a singularity. But the true impact of Penrose's singularity theorem is much deeper.
Don't eat the one in front of you.
It leads us to the limits of Einstein's great theory
don't bite
and
those
to the
ones.
origin
You
of
just
the universe.
touch the thing. Just go over there and touch it and do it. Good job. Figure out energy.
Black holes have
Squirrels.
haunted
You
our
can train a
theories
squirrel to
of
do
gravity
shit. Put it
since
on
the
YouTube.
1700s. When John Mitchell and Pierre-Simon Laplace explored Newton's law of
They'll hit
universal
you with something
gravitation,
about
they realized the possibility
intellectual
of a star so
property
massive
and
that it
fair
would
usage
prevent
on
even
moral
light from
cases and
escaping its
nullifying
surface.
juries and time
Few
fraud
people
cases.
took these dark stars seriously, especially when we learned that light didn't really behave as Mitchell, Laplace, and even Newton assumed. And then, of course, we figured out that not even gravity worked as Newton had told us. In 1915, Newtonian gravity was superseded by Einstein's general theory of relativity.
This is far from a
But
complete
that wasn't the end of black holes or dark stars.
field theory.
It was their
I got one
resurrection.
specifically where I
Carl
break down a bunch
Schwarzschild
of math
solved the
problems. They
equations
don't need
of
to
general
come in that
relativity
order,
soon
and I
after
need to be
Einstein
ready for
published
that.
them,
I show that
revealing
when I
that a
teach them.
sufficiently
The
dense
black
ball
belt
of matter
100th and one
would be
technique
surrounded by a
into
surface
being a teacher
where
out
time
here,
froze.
describing some state or
Beneath that
missing your
event
IH and
horizon,
that there.
all matter, light, space itself was doomed to fall inwards to a
As
central
time
point.
dilation, most
At
people
that so-called
could figure out
singularity,
their own.
the gravitational
And then
field
catch somebody
becomes
when they're off
infinite.
it, not
But
it, or
physicists tend to be dubious about infinities.
dubious.
More often than not, they turn
Build
out
a
to
lot
be
of
a
gravity,
glitch
put
in
them on
the
a class
theory.
board, and
Einstein
get the
himself
kids
doubted
falling at
that black
terminal
holes
velocity.
could form in the real universe,
Well,
and
Z
even
to
if they
Z,
could,
excuse me.
they certainly shouldn't
Black
harbour
body equation
singularities.
here.
After all, Schwarzschild's solution didn't say anything about how a clump of matter could reach the densities high enough to produce an event horizon, nor even whether such dense matter would really contract to a single point.
Put in the marshmallow
It only showed that once so contracted, the resulting black hole was stable.
Colleges,
The
they
intriguing
have
and
one out
terrifying
here to
possibility
go
that black
find
holes
out
might
your own.
really exist
The book of
inspired some of our brightest minds
tablets
to
under
find ways
the
that they
Nile
could exist.
Pharaoh, talking to
In
the kid, the dog, the
1939,
snake,
Robert
the girl,
Oppenheimer and
Oppenheimer.
Hartland Snyder showed that a perfectly spherical, perfectly smooth
Alpine
ball
rabbit, you're gonna
of
be
dust
coming. Like it's
could
that's
collapse
when
into a
the
Schwarzschild black hole,
conversation
singularity
for
and
the
all.
model
It makes
by the
sense.
term
If all
says,
particles are falling
who talks
directly
about
towards each
Pendrell
other on a
might
perfect
have been
collision
this,
course,
or a piece of
the
that
math
coming
says
up
they
in
have
a,
to land all in the center.
where you are right now.
But this didn't convince anyone.
Right
What
now
in our universe is
is
perfectly
now.
spherical or
But
smooth? It was
not
assumed
really
that
now.
normal,
Way the
messy
grass is
objects
still green.
could never
Yeah,
collapse to a
said
perfect
Darius A
point.
Star.
Surely
somewhere
any
about
tiny
here.
deviation from spherical
You know,
symmetry would
there.
cause particles
Okay.
to miss each other at the last instant. That might, for example, result in
So that would be
infalling matter
M1,
flying
M2,
back
M3
outwards
real
again.
quick. I mean, I'd just
So,
drop it down
for
into
example,
that form.
a star that
Say
collapses
that
at the
was
end of its
for
life
this
might
system.
entirely
Yeah, he was
rebound
definitely
as a
alpha
giant
all the way.
explosion.
Put him out
And
there,
now we come to
whatever.
the mid-1960s.
He was the hero
Roy
in the
Kerr
story.
just
Got
figured
out
out how
there
to
on his
describe a
car,
rotating black
banged him
hole
up
in
like a
Einstein's
faucet,
theory.
slapping
In
him
it,
out.
the central point of infinite gravity is spun out into a ring, but it was a singularity nonetheless. The Kerr solution was still highly symmetrical.
We
so
could
the
tell
same
the
old
story
arguments
how many
held
ways, or
against
just the way
these
I told
things
you.
forming
I
in
told you.
reality. It took a young Cambridge physicist named Roger Penrose
Now,
to prove
on
that
the
black hole
farm,
singularities were utterly
I'd have to
unavoidable
figure out how to
in
do
Einstein's theory.
corn, hay,
Penrose's
cows,
singularity
pigs,
paper is
cats,
deceptively short,
cats,
just a couple of
radioactive
pages
isotope,
in
man,
Physical
blink,
Review
come
letters.
at you.
However, that brevity is deceptive. Some say this 1965 paper produced the first truly new advances in general relativity half a century after the theory was published. So what did Penrose discover? How did he manage to peer into the mathematical heart of the black hole?
well.
And why did this deserve a Nobel Prize? Penrose set out to
The
show
Russian
that an
subs were
event
in the
horizon
Boston
and a
Strangler
singularity would form in any
old one.
distribution of matter, no matter how messy, as long as that matter was compacted to a small enough volume of space. At least according to general relativity.
I
And his
condensed it to
singularity
one page.
theorem succeeded
You don't
in
usually
that,
see Penrose's
but it
twisted
succeeded in
theory
so much more,
in
as
hand.
we'll see. Today I'm going to give you a sense of Penrose's breakthrough and why it revolutionized general relativity For a more complete picture, I can refer you to a good grad program in physics.
Well,
But
on one
let's see
page
how much we
for
can do
Penrose's
in a
twistor
handful of
theory,
minutes.
those are his diagrams.
Basically, Penrose showed that according to
Specifically
Einstein's
have the
theory,
heading
plus a couple of
under it,
assumptions,
maybe in
black
my
holes
book,
must
but
contain
at the point of
singularities.
fair usage
And
and
this is
intellectual
true
property
regardless
of how
how
that
the black
marshmallow
hole
works.
forms. He did
They do
in a
it.
clever way
It's the
by
pillars
showing
in
that
the system
grid
for
of
the event
spacetime
horizon on
literally comes to an
colleges
end
or
inside a
Bluestone
black hole.
Mills.
In general relativity,
You know
we
that
map
spot
the
over
fabric
there,
of
that gold
space-time
miners
with
claim,
grid
or
lines that we call
your tree
geodesics.
stand, right?
These
I
are the
bet you it
paths
has a
traveled by an object
geodesic
in
just
free
around
fall in
there,
a
don't it?
gravitational field. The path traveled by a ray of light is
Now,
called
obviously,
a
so does the
null
deer, and it's
geodesic.
kind of just floating around
They
out there
are
when you
the gold
macro,
standard
micro
for bringing
that
up space-time.
in your field theory,
Null geodesics
because
traveling
it
into
should,
or past any
when
gravitational
they
field
graph
tend
next
to
to
be
each
drawn
other
together or
and
converge or be
converge.
focused. This is gravitational lensing. Gravitational fields produced by regular matter
come back,
always
it's way
produce
old,
this
not just
convergence.
yesterday.
It would take
Meme
negative
stock,
mass
this
or
has been
negative
around for a
pressure
while,
to
banging out
cause
some
light rays
big
to diverge.
mathematicians,
This
so
focusing
you're going to
property
want
of
to give it
gravitational
to
fields
one of the big
is
ones.
called the weak energy condition of
Somebody
general
who has it
relativity,
locally
and
kind of
almost
chirping
certainly
your way
holds in
through
black
the
holes.
goat path
So,
inside of here
null
until you
geodesics
fail your
traveling
proof in
down
your own
into a
way,
black hole are going
or
to
letting
converge.
somebody
No
else
big surprise
differentiate
there.
that with
But the crazy
no
thing about
other
black holes is that
values
null
for that
geodesics
system.
beneath the event horizon that are trying to
Like
travel
to keep them on their
outwards
toes.
also converge. Actually, the whole idea of the event horizon is
Great
tricky
glass,
here.
really.
There are multiple ways to
Figure out the-
define an event horizon depending on where you sit compared to the black hole. Penrose
Perfect.
came up with a more precise idea, that of the trapped surface. That's any closed surface that has this property that null geodesics, and so
Fun way
any
to
light
play it. If
pointing
you
outwards from
understand
the
those
surface
graphs, it's hard for
actually
the
move
psychologist to
downwards.
differentiate
Any
that when
closed
you're
surface
using that
inside
model.
the black hole is considered a trapped surface.
Go box.
Penrose showed
I wanna know
that
that.
at
I
least
mean,
some
it's a-
of the parallel
Come at me
null
with
geodesics
the alcohol
leaving
test
any
in a
trapped surface,
beaker
either
instead of a
up or
shot
down,
glass
had to converge,
as a
had to
psychologist.
cross each other
Let's
and come
see
to
what
a
the
focus.
number looked like in the
And
LSD
he
test.
also
A
showed
marshmallow,
that for rays
LSD,
departing a
put it
trapped
on the table.
surface,
You can choose
it's
to take
meaningless
this,
to
choose not to
continue
take
to
that.
track
They
the
are still
progression
a
of space and
control.
time
If in the
beyond one of
room,
these
I
focal
have them
points.
still watch it.
In other words, space and time end
No,
at the
they
focus.
did. Some other
I can
group
only
did.
give you a vague
I can
sense
give
of why
you the
this is
pre-log.
case.
I could test
Penrose
that if I
proves it
waited
by
to show
showing
them the videos
that impossible
afterwards.
contradictions
But that
arise
is what that
otherwise.
is. And most of those things
Imagine a
graph
pair
have
of light
product. They have
rays
things that are in
emerging from
common.
the same point and then
Those
focused
that
back
build
towards
them
each other.
made stuff
Both
happen.
are
There's some
equally the shortest path between
Penrose.
those points.
You
Now
cut it
imagine
up a little
extending
bit
one of
and
those
it's gonna,
paths just a
you're
little.
going to get into
The
this
distance from the
type
starting
of
point to
angle
the
on
end of that
internal
extension
containment, if you will,
is still
because
the
it
same
will.
whether we
You're
take
gonna
the
have
left
to
or
watch a
right
lecture.
arc.
And one
But
of those
now we
is
can
going to have to
find
bend
an
you to
even
that
shorter path,
name.
one obtained by smoothing out this
42,
kink.
the blinky lights
And
telling
that
you to
has
go
to
over here and
be
watch
shorter
Ben
than
Eater
both the
and
original paths.
some of these
So
other
there's the
names,
contradiction.
wherever,
We found a shorter path and
whatever
supposedly the
that,
shortest paths.
to the
This
shortest
tells us
path.
that the null geodesic does not continue past the focal points
Oh.
as
In the
a null
casino, the real
geodesic.
world, the fire
Null
pit,
geodesics
also
terminate at these
salty.
focal points
I hit
within
you
a
with
black
it.
hole.
I'm
We
the
call
witch
this
doctor, and I'm gonna lay
geodesic
it straight. You all die
incompleteness.
on the
Because they're
mission,
the
or
grid we
you
use
need
to
me
map
for
space
hunting
and time.
buffalo.
Geodesic incompleteness means
I
space
would
and or time
expect
end at these
that to
termination
be
points.
the role of
They
those
don't just
bones.
freeze, they literally cease. Let's try an analogy. The geodesics we use to map the surface of the Earth are longitude and latitude.
Come at me, bro.
Lines of longitude come to a focus at the North and South Poles. A line of longitude is the shortest distance to, say, the
We got
North
all
Pole.
kinds of stuff out
The quickest
here.
way
There
for you to
definitely has
increase
to be
your
some of that.
northness.
If I do the
But if
American
you travel past the
methodology,
North Pole,
and we
you're
say,
no longer on the shortest path to any new point that you reach.
I'm
And
going
at
to
the
be
same
pretty
time,
fucking
you
pissed
reach
if
the end of
PVC
north,
can
maxed
put
out your
down
northness,
anything my
and
government
started
can throw
traveling
at
south
me.
again.
Do the math.
Well, in a black hole, you don't reach the end of north, you reach the end of time, or space.
Well,
They
let's
are dead ends
put
to
Fox,
reality.
CNBC.
So yeah,
Let's
geodesic
put
incompleteness is
anything on
pretty
CNN.
freaky.
Let's
Prior to
put
Penrose,
anything
it was
Penrose.
generally held that
You wanna
geodesics
do a
could be
team
traced
doing something
indefinitely
inside
into
here?
the past and future. All of space-time should be
They come
this
out with a lot of
smooth,
different
if curved
methodologies.
structure,
Those would be the
a
specs or
manifold
systems or
cleanly
names or
defined
gravity
everywhere.
by
Penrose showed
electrons,
that space
up, down,
and
hot,
time
cold,
could have holes in it.
on some
These holes
systems
tend to be
that would say,
associated with
alright, so that's
infinite
definitely a black
space-time
hole.
curvature,
Obviously,
infinite
if I
gravity.
only had to
In
set
other
my
words,
sensors to black
singularities.
holes on general
Penrose didn't
relativity.
actually show what type of singularity would
General
form
special
the black hole,
relativity. I'm going to take
just that
this this
some time
concept,
was
put it with
inevitable.
X or Y.
In a
And
celestial
I'm gonna
black
say
hole,
down
time
in the
ceases
matrix
at the
of
point
those
like central
2
singularity,
by 2s, which
while
are
in a
usually
curved black hole,
derivative
space
equals or
ends
derivative
at the ring
equals,
singularity.
and then you flip it
With
around,
Roger Penrose's
then you might get
discovery,
into a
black
triple
holes
fact,
and the
this with
singularities of
this, which
within
is how
had to
you
be taken
build
more
those
seriously.
codes into the
true
frames
utility
here,
of the
but
singularity
it's
theorem
not
went well
always
beyond
quite
black
that
holes.
clear because
Just after Penrose
it's
published
hard to
his
quantify
paper,
both
a young
N1 half
graduate
as you're
student
building
was
it, but
inspired
at the
to
end of
apply
it,
the singularity theorem
we could be
in a
able to
very
put
different way.
Shangri-La build in here
That student
now,
was Stephen
in
Hawking.
Hancock, but
In his PhD thesis,
Fog, Nuke, and
Hawking
Mars
showed
with
that you could use the
Total
same
Carl
arguments
Sagan
to
about
investigate the
those real
behavior of
numbers using
geodesics
Elon
traced
for the
backwards
cosmic
through our
radiation
entire universe
background of
towards
the
the
black
Big Bang.
dark ages in
Now, at
here
this
to
point,
where
we've
we're
known for
relative
40
right
years
now.
that the universe is expanding and
Where
probably
it's
started
going
in a much
is reality.
denser state. In fact, the
Twisted
latter
theory.
had been verified by the detection of the cosmic microwave background just prior in the year
I can throw down some
1964.
Penzro stuff
We
here.
knew
It's
that
that classroom
geodesics
as
could
well.
converge
Your
towards each other
IH on here
backwards
for
in
me
time.
catching temperature
But
differences.
that doesn't mean they all had to meet. They could, for
Infrared,
example,
X-ray,
miss and weave
all the
past
gamma,
each other
electron
in an
equal.
insanely dense, but
You know,
not
if it was
infinitely
hot
dense
with a blue lit
knot.
inside of there,
This
and we
might
go
be
to
the case if the
the
universe
case for sharps
underwent
there, you
cyclic
snap
big bounces.
because you're a cop, have an easy day, saving
Hawking
people,
showed
and
that
then some
Penrose's
asshole
arguments
is
about
off of
black
it, and
holes
you maybe
also
need
applied
to
to the
have that
universe.
conversation. I
That
don't know how I
geodesics
went to
traced
talk about that.
backwards
You
in an
probably felt a
expanding
lot
universe
about
had
vector
to truly
positions
meet
inside of
to
there.
form a singularity, which meant they had to terminate. Time
And you know,
itself could
you
not be
take energy,
traced
somebody
beyond
hangs
that
up their
point,
tags.
which suggested that
You
time
turn
really
around
starts
back
at
over
the Big
because
Bang.
Chaplin
Hawking and
Sharps
Penrose
turn
further
over
developed
graph
these
system,
ideas
pushings
together,
on things, people
publishing
in
a
here, how
clean
big are
proof
they?
in
What is the
1970.
salt crew system? What
We
are
now
equipment
call the
systems on the
combined
automation,
proofs of geodesic
general
incompleteness
programming
the
for
Penrose-Hawking
GPT-3 over here
singularity
when
theorems.
they go get
This
it.
is probably the right time to tell you how the singularity theorems must be wrong.
Usually
or
the
at least
general's doing
point to
pretty good.
wrongness.
Why am I being
They
investigated
give us
for
the
not saving the
predictions
world?
of pure
Depends.
general
Depends on how you
relativity
look
and
at it.
assume various energy conditions.
Some black holes about
We
classrooms
know
would come
that
up
general
comparatively
relativity
to
is not
otherwise.
the entire picture, and this might be the most
I
powerful
do the
result
energy
of
because it's
singularity
faster.
theorems.
Come around later, I need that
Remember,
graph.
we should be dubious when we see infinities and
Come in
singularities
early.
in our
I
theories.
don't have to
Penrose showed us that
really get into
singularities
that
are
or kinda
unavoidable
have to
in general
deal with that.
relativity, and so GR must break down at these points. The resolution must be the union
training.
of general relativity and quantum mechanics, a theory of quantum gravity, from which both quantum mechanics and relativity are just approximations.
G theory.
Such a theory
Coin.
may tell us what really happens to
Marshmallows
geodesics when they
blockchain.
approach and merge,
Come back.
and even hopefully what geodesics and space and time really are. Penrose's singularity theorem is a big part of what set us on the path to this yet undiscovered greater theory.
know quantum
Roger
mechanics.
Penrose won this year's Nobel Prize
You
in
know
Physics
Penrose.
for his contributions to our theoretical understanding of black holes. He shared it with Andrea Ghez and Reinhard Genzel, who proved to us the existence of the Milky Way's central supermassive black hole by monitoring the crazy orbits of stars in the galactic core. The work of Ghez
Yeah,
and
rock,
Genzel
yeah.
and other astronomers
We don't have tents out here,
guaranteed
and we
the
need 'em.
existence of
Guess
black
with
holes,
money.
which means there are places in the universe where general relativity must break down or produce singularities. Nobel-worthy insights, and all from some bright ideas about how light rays travel and
what do you
terminate
want to call it?
at the singular
Messiah
dead
of Caesar's
ends
complex
of
over
space-time.
here at your little
This week we want to
landscaper.
extend our heartfelt thanks to Brody Rayo
Catch you on the
for
next one.
your incredible